Okay, guys, it is Monday, election week, FOMC week. Honestly, kind of just a crazy week going on in terms of just general volatility this week. We got so much stuff happening this week. I'm genuinely curious, like, what kind of stuff we get at the market open today. I know, like, for instance, Top Step is shutting down their live accounts. Um, yeah, so Top Step shutting down their live accounts. Um, Yeah, we'll see what happens here. Uh, I'll put this up on screen. To be honest, looking at the NASDAQ here, this is the micro NASDAQ, but looking at this, looking at the Q, markets are down a little bit today. What I really genuinely wonder is, are we going to get volatility or choppiness today? That's what I genuinely wonder. Let me put this stuff up. Sorry, I got the hiccups on screen. But yeah, look at this. So this is what we're seeing right now. Again, it honestly should be a crazy week. Honestly, it's been so long since the last. It's been so long since the last election. I can't even remember what the market action was like. Let me get some music on. Yeah, fair. Yeah, I'm looking at everything. Honestly, most stuff is down this morning. You look at the SPY, it's down. You look at the Q, we're slightly down. SPY's starting to bounce back up a little bit, though. Actually, SPY is green today, so the SPY is green. It dipped for whatever reason. I saw the news that Warren Buffett was selling a huge chunk of his stake in Apple. So Warren Buffett is selling a huge chunk of his stake in Apple. I know that's kind of big market news this morning. Let me know if you can hear the music. You should be able to. But yeah, we did have some earnings today. Nothing big, to be honest. Like, none of the earnings today are big. The biggest one is going to be Palantir that will probably stream this evening. Yeah, the Fed rate decision is on Thursday. So the Fed rate decision on Thursday. So far, I haven't even checked the odds this morning. But so far, this is what they're looking like. A 98% chance of a 25 basis point cut. Yeah, I'm going to do a poll. Will today be a red or green day? Chat, let me know. Alright, so we got the poll live. Will today be red or green market day? Red or green? Vote on the poll. Again, most people expecting a 25 basis point cut, which is not a shock necessarily here. I do see a longer term trend. I'm going to buy this dip up here. We're right at the 200 EMA. It's a little bit early. I'm trying to catch a little long position here, but we got a nice little pop up. I'm going to take half of that off, lock it in, let the rest work. Very nice little bounce back. We'll go ahead and get out the rest there. So we just made a little $15 early this morning on our funded account. Yeah, so the Fed decision is on Thursday. So let me put... Alright, so the U.S. election is tomorrow. The FOMC decision is on Thursday. Will we get big volatility? Also, guys, before I even start up anything else, remember, I am terrible and have no idea what I'm talking about. Might be widely wrong about anything and everything I say here. It's for entertainment only. My experiences my trades might be done off stream. You're not going to see all my trades. I do trade off stream. I don't even claim to be a good trader. Understand CFTC 4.41 hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations. I'm not an investment professional. We're not liable if you lose money in markets, chat. It's not our fault, guys. That's all I'm saying. Palantir might see 30s today. Isn't Palantir up big? Yeah, so Palantir's at 40s. It's down a little bit this morning. It's had a crazy run, you know, the last couple months. Really, it's been a couple months for Palantir's crazy run, but it has had a pretty big run. Like, if you look at Palantir just back in August, it was at 23s. It's now at 42, so it's up almost 100% from there. Yeah, so Top Step is pausing the actual live accounts for a few days until the election is over with, and then they're going to resume them after the election, just because of volatility potential. But my XFA and my challenge accounts are fine, so I'm still able to trade. Just if you have a live account. And I know I'm kind of starting the stream a little bit later, and that's all right. You know, my apologies, guys. We're starting the stream a little late. Looking at our poll numbers, we're pretty split down the middle, 50-50 basically. 44-56 is what I'm showing now, but it's moving back and forth. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure you can trade XFAs right now. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there's so much election stuff going on today. It's hard to watch. Gosh, man. Yeah, I mean, there's so much political stuff going on. All right, so we got a dip. We're right at the 200 EMA, and again, we're going to be day trading this morning. Supermicro semiconductors still falling back down. It's down to 25.50s here for Supermicro semiconductors. It had a red day on Friday, and it's basically been falling ever since. It's down to $25 a share. This would mark, you know, it being down 50% from where it was prior to the independent auditor Ernst & Young walking away. So what's up, Sean? Wait, did Supermicro cancel their earnings tomorrow? It's also the election day, and so I think they're probably just also analyzed that nobody's going to be tuning in. Yeah, so we got this little breakdown here. Part of me wants to short. I see this trend here, and so I'll try to draw it out. Yeah, I'm ready for this election to finish. It's too stressful. Alright, so this is the trend that I'm seeing right now, right? Even if we zoom in here, we zoom out here, this is the trend that I see currently. Right? That looks like a pretty obvious trend. Maybe I'm a little bit off. Maybe it should be like this. But yeah, that's the trend I currently see. We're at the very top of the range, so normally I would short that. What do you guys think we're gonna get? Is Supermicro still doing their earnings tomorrow? I know today we got Palantir. Yeah, so today we got Palantir. This evening we got Hims, Cleveland Cliffs. Let me see. Okay, Palantir earnings calls at 5. All right. Nvidia added to the Dow on Friday. I think it should have done that a while back. You know, the Dow's interesting. It does offer like somewhat of a hedge. If you look at /YM on the Dow, like here's the Dow. You know, the Dow, it's a little bit of a different animal versus, you know, here's a daily chart this year on the Dow. It's a little bit of a different animal versus like the S&P. It's still up. Wait. Yeah. Here's 2024. So the Dow just in 2024 starting here. Is up. I don't know what kind of percentage is up from 38 to 42. 38 to 42 is the percentage on the Dow. 38 to 42. So just a ballpark estimate. You know, it's only up about 10.5% this year, and that's opposed to like the S&P, which is up, or the Nasdaq. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq in 2024. Let's see. This thing started the year off at about 17.1. It's now at about 20.5. The Nasdaq's up about 20% this year, about 20%. The S&P 500. Let's see what that's looking like for this year. The S&P opened the year up about, we'll call it 5. And it's now at about 57, 58. That's an increase of 16%. So Dow's underperforming. Dow's underperforming. Yeah, look at this top trend line. Where's the trend line we just drew? Oh, I must have been looking at the micro Nasdaq. Let me put that back up. Yeah, so there's the trend line. Look at that top of the trend line. Worked really, really well. Rejected really, really well. They will do their earnings. They even said they would make an announcement during that call to explain. Do you think anybody's going to even pay attention to it, though? It's on election day for Supermicro. Yeah, I'm looking at this tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, we got like a couple small ones. But tomorrow evening, we've got Supermicro. You know, I'm probably not going to stream it. Why am I not going to stream it? Because I don't think anybody's going to be paying attention to freaking anything. Am I wrong? Like, why am I not going to stream it? I just don't think anybody's going to be paying attention to that. Right? Am I wrong there? I can't imagine anybody's going to be like, yo, let me tune into Supermicro Semiconductor earnings on election day. I just don't think anybody's going to watch that, right? I might be wrong. I don't know. Yeah, it's one of the top 3 worst days to stream ever. I think you'd be surprised. I don't think so. I mean, I think we'll have people tune in, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere close to normal. Yeah, I just don't think it'll be anywhere close to normal. Huh. So Keanu Reeves believes that the timeline of human history is off. And he went on that show, Ancient Apocalypse, or whatever it's called, and he explained to Graham Hancock how he's always felt like the timeline of history was off. I know they have some years, like there's, what is it? Is it like, I might be off with this, but isn't it like the 1300th year or century that people think, or maybe it's the whole millennia, that people think was like never existed, just skipped over. And I think the justification for thinking that was that there's not a lot of like artifacts from that period of time. You know, it's something like that. I can't remember. I might be off with it again. If I'm wrong, correct me. I'm not saying I agree with any of this. You know, ADHD just gets got with social media from stuff like this. And it's interesting. It's curious. Sometimes I'm here, but I'm not here. I would watch, but probably diversified focus. Does the market open in an hour? It opens in 2 hours. Or no, yeah, correct. So right now it's 8:18 market time. You know, so market opens up in about an hour and 12 minutes. Yes. John, what is your current swing trade play? My current swing trade play is not to do anything, right? Like personally right now, I'm not taking any type of, again, I'm waiting for the election volatility to settle first. I don't, you know, I'm not voting for anybody or rooting for anybody. I just think it's best to, considering we just don't know how the market's going to respond to all this stuff. It's one of the reasons Top Step paused trading is because we don't know how the market's going to respond to stuff, right? And, I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, it makes a lot of sense. I'm actually going on Top Step TV later on today at 1 o'clock. But yeah, it's something in which, like, you know, people have to understand the volatility that we might get from this can be profound and big and risky. I would just be very careful taking any type of, like, long term's always okay, as long as you're willing to hold a losing position for a period of time, right? So like long term you should be okay regardless, and when I say long term I mean like 10-15 years. You should be fine regardless, because you know over time heals a lot of wounds in stocks, and that's just the nature of it. That's what we've seen from the S&P, the Nasdaq, the Dow for a century, and that's probably what we're going to continue to see. Now short term's where the risk is, and I think on the day before the election it's even bigger and riskier, and you just want to be careful on days like today, just because you don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what we're going to get. Yeah, we had daylight savings time, so we got an hour of sleep. Yeah. So you think we came? I don't know, Michael. I think we probably evolved to this, considering our DNA. But you know, it's again. I think there's a lot of interesting theories. I think the Van Daniken theory is really interesting. I think that would explain a lot, including a lot of religious texts. But again, I'm not claiming to know anything. I have no freaking idea. And I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting topic, but it's also not something I want to go super in depth with, just because, you know, yeah. Yeah, time and markets beats timing the market 100%. The reason a lot of investors get it wrong is specifically that they wait for the best entry when really they should just be DCAing into positions long term, right? Like they wait for the best entry. They say, oh, the market's up too much. Oh, the market's down too much. You know, they just don't end up entering investments, and then they just end up losing money. You know, sometimes those are the guys that are always yelling for a market crash because they've missed out on their opportunities and they're kind of mad about it. But with that said, like the election tomorrow just causes a massive amount of volatility that we just have to be careful with and understand, you know. Yeah, Super Micro getting really weak this morning, dumping down 25. Just tapped 25, got under 25 for a split second at 24.90s. We can put that up on screen. Look at Super Micro down today, just huge dump. Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you, Z or Zeb or whatever your name is. I tend to agree with you. I agree with that. But I also think like it's the most probable thing. But there could always be other, you know, other things that us as humans just don't understand or know, right? And I think it's important to go into things with that context of everything, right? Like I think basically I agree with that, and it's the most probable thing, but also that we shouldn't just assume it's 100%, right? Like it's a my opinion of it is a little bit, I don't know. It's hard to, it's too controversial of a topic, to be honest. And it doesn't necessarily mean religious texts are wrong either. Like, in a lot of religious texts, you're interpreting, it's old interpretations, right? So, you don't know what they meant by time frames, just as an example, like the Christian Bible, like 7 days, you don't know what they mean by 7 days. There's also theistic evolution, which is like, there's a lot of ways you can look at it. My point is, I'm not trying to count anybody out or be disrespectful to anybody here. They want to time the market, be like that 500 to millions kid on YouTube. Yeah, the problem is it's usually young people, right? Young people are the most naive, I would say, regarding trading in stocks and day trading, right? They think that you're going to be able to take a small account and just turn it into a big account easily. It really, to be honest, it's a lot of it is like a fake it until you make it scenario where like young people know that you can't really do it, but they just kind of fake it until they make enough money to actually be rich. And then, so that it's a fake it till you make it thing with a lot of young people. And you see that in a lot of different areas, not just trading stocks, but everywhere. MicroStrategy just went green on the day, and we're still following. Look at the 200 EMA right here, so we're still looking at that. All right, we're at 230s. Yeah, I think you have to look at things in terms of like, I think assuming we know anything too much is a flawed thinking. I think the simulation theory will make you really question things. And if scientists can agree on like different dimensions and simulation theory being possible, right? I'm not even going to say probable, but being possible, then I think we have to really ease into our expectations regarding everything around us and take that context into it, where who knows what, any of this is. Nobody does. We can always theorize, and that's great, and we can use the most probable theories, but in the end, nobody knows. MicroStrategy, where's Bitcoin at? Look at that MicroStrategy go up. I'm wondering if Bitcoin... Yeah, so Bitcoin got up to 70K, just fell underneath, and it's now at 69, just under 70K. It's really just under 70K now. It hit 70K on Saturday, but broke under 70K on Saturday, and then for this morning, as well as yesterday as a whole on Sunday, Bitcoin's been under the 70K level. I love how we're supposed to have evolved here over millions of years, but we're still allergic to this place. Well, I mean, a lot of allergies are just a lack of exposure to things. And so, like, an example of this is my sister was allergic to cats growing up, But my dad's house was like a freaking zoo. Like, we had animals nonstop. We had dogs. We had cats. My dad was a falconer. We raised quail. I had snakes. Like, we had tons of animals. And my dad was basically like, hey, she'll get over it. And she actually did, right? Like, so she was really allergic to cats. And then within a few years of living in our house, she hasn't been allergic since. Like, her allergies completely went away. And I think a lot of allergies are from a lack of exposure to things. And so it makes sense as humans build more barriers against the world, and houses and cars and air conditioning and cleaner air where they're living, that we have less immunity to those type of things. I think that makes sense. But again, I don't know, man. I don't freaking know. So yeah, so anyways, let's go back to trading. Honestly, the market's interesting. I'm just curious about what kind of market we're gonna get today. I'm just curious about like what the market is gonna give us today. I see somebody saying, can you explain the EMA? So the EMA is so the simple moving average calculates the average price over a certain period equally. The EMA gives more weight to the most recent prices. It allows the EMA to respond faster to recent price changes. It basically puts more weight on the more recent price action. So like the EMA calculation starts with the most recent price and applies a smoothing factor based on the chosen period, like 20-day, 50-day. You know, I like to use the 200 EM average. The formula involves a multiplier that dictates how much weight the most recent price has. Like a 20 period EMA applies a weight of approximately 9.52% to the latest price. So basically, like the exponential puts more weight on the recent price. Than just a simple, which averages the whole price history. So the EMA is highly valued for adaptability, responsiveness. The EMA makes it like a lot of traders like to use it who want a moving average that reacts quickly to price changes for like day trading, but it can also lead to like less accuracy, if that makes sense, and longer term stuff. The simulation theory is what I was saying. Simulation theory still messes with me because I can't help it. It makes sense, you know. Like if it's possible for us to create a virtual reality in which is indistinguishable from what we currently see out of our eyes, that it's actually much more statistically possible that we're already in that. You know, that's a weird, messes with your head theory, but it kind of makes sense, But at the same time, who knows, man? I think it becomes. I think as technology that we use evolves, it makes it weirder and more confusing. All right, chat. Yeah, we're trading here. I guess I'm gonna short right now, and I'm gonna take. We're trading small. We've already made like 15 bucks or something today. We might take up to 2 contracts here. So again, Nvidia stock gains as it prepares to replace Intel in the Dow. So Intel getting replaced in the Dow. I think it's honestly necessary. Intel's outdated. It's weak. It's not the strongest microchip stock. It's definitely not the alpha microchip. All right, so we're going to add 2 contracts here. They wanted to ensure a more representative exposure to the semiconductor industry. 100%. It makes perfect sense. Boeing machinists are going to vote Monday on a contract that could end the strike that's going on right now. We're going to go ahead and end a piece of this off. We just took a piece of that off. All right, so we're flat on this last little piece here. And now we're down a little bit. Look at that big spike. Wow. I don't like that at all. I gotta cut this. There's too much of a chance that it runs all the way up to the top of this range, even if it, you know. Yeah, so we ended up losing $10 there on the total trade. Yeah, there's the run up. Here's MicroStrategy. Again, Super Micro is interesting here as well, though. At 25.25s. Yeah, the time changed in the U.S. So we had daylight savings time. It's called fall back. It was on November 2nd, so it was basically Sunday morning, early. And yeah, you can kind of see the top of the trend line that we drew here. Hey, nice pawn. I see your day trades. It looks good, man. Yeah, I mean, part of me wants to short this again. I'll try. Alright, I'm gonna take up to 3 contracts here. See if I could ride this down. Alright, we're green. We didn't need to take 3 contracts here, I guess. I'm gonna add to this too. Now we got 3. Like I said, I wouldn't mind adding 3 to this. Yeah, looking at Intel, looking at Bitcoin also. It wants to hold, but there we go. Wait a little bit. We popped right back. Now we just got 2 contracts here too. Yeah, we're trading so small right now, guys, so just bear with me. We're not really taking a big position here. It's too early. We'll trade a little bit larger. We got less than an hour before the open. We'll trade a little bit larger once the opening bell hits. We got a bad fill. We took a piece off. It might have been a good move to take it off, but we're sitting right over the 200 EMA, and so I don't really like where we are. We're green on the day total, but if we can retrace back down to where we don't lose too much here, I'm happy, but we're sitting right over the 200 EMA. Yeah, we fall back, meaning we gain an hour of sleep. So when 2 a.m. hits Sunday morning, I think the way it works is at 1:59, instead of going to 2 a.m., it actually reverts back to 1 a.m. So it goes from 1:59 back to 1 a.m., and then it just kind of goes back, and then normal time continues. Only because we're at the top of my trend line am I going to add to this. Alright, somehow we got out of this in the green, but Alright, so we made money somehow on this trade, but not a lot. I'm just not very confident in my positions here. It's too early. It's too early. We're at the top of the trend line. I think it's too likely that we're going to break this trend line and move. And maybe not. There's a big breakdown. Yeah, maybe we should have held that position here. We're green on the day, you guys. We're green on the day. I'll take it. Yeah. And again, if you want to check out Top Step, funded account program and futures, the best way to learn how to day trade is this. Again, almost all day traders lose money. And so it doesn't matter what course you take, who you follow, you're probably going to lose money day trading, right? Like, this is just the honest truth. You're probably going to lose money day trading. And so instead of funding thousands of dollars in your own account, you don't need to do that. You can still get exposure to it, test your skill. If you're good enough, you can get funded with a 90% split, and it only costs 49 bucks. If you fail it, you probably would have lost the money funding yourself, and it's a lot cheaper going this route most of the time. There's no PDT in futures. You can day trade short. The big part about Top Step X, you see me trading these tiny sizes. I'm still net profit today. 74 cents in fees per trade with micro contracts. 0 commissions, the biggest edge in funding, in my opinion. And again, they give you a demo. They give you a 50K demo. If you can make 3K without losing 2K first and following their rules, they fund you 50K with a 90% split, and they've paid out hundreds of millions of dollars to their traders. They fund thousands of traders a year. They paid out, I think, over 100 million. Maybe it's not hundreds of million. I think they paid out over 100 million to their traders. Great way to learn how to day trade. And if you lose, the base one's 49 bucks, not the end of the world. In the futures market, you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold. Patterns are super, super similar if you trade index funds to blue chip stock patterns. It's just much less. And again, it's going to save new traders money. Instead of risking thousands of dollars, you're still risking something, but it's like this beautiful middle ground of pressure where you're not risking too much, but you're still risking something. And if you're good enough to pass it, you can get funded with a 90% split, which is similar to funding yourself. And if you're not, then you only lose the 49 buck monthly subscription, which makes sense. 90% is what it is, Z. So it's 90%. If you want to check out, they're an affiliate or sponsor of mine. They pay me money. I'm biased, but it's genuinely good for traders, in my opinion. All right, so we did end up ripping up here. And again, we kind of saved ourselves. We did end up ripping up. We ended up getting out of this position, our short position here, and justifiably so. Did y'all hear about Peanut the squirrel? Alright, so we're at the very top of the range. Yeah, rest in peace to Peanut. Do you think it's too dangerous to buy shares in Space just days before earnings? Do you think it has any chance of breaking out to the upside? I mean, I think there's a chance for Space for SPCE. I mean, is it a big chance? I don't know, man. Space is a beaten down stock. You know, the space industry, incredibly expensive, got really overhyped. And like, you know, traders, like, they want to get rich, right? So, you know, this thing went up to a ridiculous price. It's been split so many times since then, though, that like I'm skeptical. All right, I'm gonna short this way up here at the top, one contract. We're gonna try to take a longer term trade here. But yeah, the problem with space is that it's the industry of space is incredibly expensive. Like, and more important than any of this stuff, you got to look at the margins of space, right? Space is not a new company, but if we look at the margins of it, Virgin Galactic Holdings, like, this is not a new company. This company has been losing money for a decade now, right? And again, it makes sense why. The space industry, incredibly expensive, super difficult, super bad margins, not easy to make money in, you know? And so I personally, I'm not buying space up. It's been split too much it's been split so much to where the price is over $1,000 in the historicals. Like, the high of the last few years is up to 1,256, which is nowhere near the real highs. It's just been split so much, which means they've been desperate. It's been reverse split so much, you know. So it's just, I wouldn't touch this thing, guys. All right, so our short is working. We're going to go ahead and cover it there. Yeah, I mean, dead cat bounces typically work on, like, good, healthy blue chip companies. This is a company that's... And listen, to be honest, nobody knows, right? Like, nobody knows if... Like, space could have good earnings, bad earnings, and go up 20%. It's certainly possible that happens. Is it probable? I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know enough about this company to be honest. I know I don't like it long term. Short term, maybe there's, like, you know, maybe there's a chance. I really have no idea. I don't know what they've been doing this last quarter. I don't know how much they're beaten down. Again, in my opinion, I'm not investing in this company, but who knows what's going to happen short term. It's a gamble. I guess the overarching point is it's a gamble. Like, it could happen. It also could not and just dump down. So I would just be careful. Yeah, so the $56 is roughly right around the high. Hey, what's up, Thomas? Alright, so my short there worked really nicely here, right at the top of that trend line that we drew. It's been working fairly well. I just have to be a little bit more confident in this type of stuff, but... Alright, so look at this big breakdown. Part of me wants to buy this dip up. I'm watching Super Micro, which, look at the NASDAQ turn. Where's Tesla at right now? What's Tesla doing? Tesla breaking down, looking weak. Apple. I'm guessing Apple's down after war. Man, Apple's been as flat as can be here too. Do you think Berkshire Hathaway is worth it? Berk? I mean, Berk's a great company, but it's expensive, and there's a cost to the expense, right? So Berkshire Hathaway common stock. Like, you want Class A shares for Berk? It's gonna run you about $678,000 a share. You know, $750,000 roughly, a little bit under $750,000 per share for Berk. What about Class B? Class B is about 452. So you can buy some of it, 452. What's Berk done on the year? Berk has gone up from 350s all the way to 450s. 350 to 450 is basically where Berk has gone in 2024 so far. 350 to 450. So yeah, Berk is up 28.5% this year. So I mean, it's a nice company, like, for sure. It has really consistent gains. There's a reason everybody pays attention to Warren Buffett, but it's expensive. Its EPS is really nice too. Does it pay a divvy too? I don't think so, right? Let me see. Yeah. All right. No, does not pay dividends. All right, we got a little head and shoulders pattern here. I'm gonna short. I'm gonna add to it if it bounces back up. We got a little mini head and shoulders pattern. We're now also at the top of the trend line. So we'll take a little swing here. Take up to 4 contracts, maybe 5. Yeah, I would just be careful today, tomorrow. All right, we're gonna take one more position here. Yep. Nice little fall. Come on, let's break down some more. All right, we locked it in. We're really nicely green in profit. I'm gonna add to this. We'll go ahead and take that off. Okay, so we just made about 20 bucks. We got the little head and shoulders top of the trend line pattern. We're slowly chopping away. Do you not live in the United States, Thomas? All right, chat. We got the big downward pressure here. Look at our poll numbers. We asked people today be red or green. 54% think red. I don't see it, Pawn. Is it on? Is it in everything else? Yeah, I don't see the tattoo, Pawn. You're talking to me, unless you're talking to somebody else. All right, so we got the little head and shoulders pattern still. Part of me wants to short it again, but we're also so choppy right now. I don't think the edge either way is very high. No, I've never tried credit spreads. Oh, nice. It's a squirrel. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really sad story, man. And they're kind of making it political, but I don't think it is. You know. Yeah, it's just a really sad story. And then my wife and I, there's that new, it's like the chimp. On Hulu, there's a chimp documentary as well about chimps and people who try to own chimps. The problem with chimps is that when they're under 5, super sweet, like the coolest pet you could ever have under 5. The problem is once they grow older, once they're over 5, they turn into monsters, right? Like genuine monsters, you know. Like I always wanted a pet, like monkey, growing up, but I'm never gonna get one just because while it's cool, that's like a freaking baby. You know, number one, if I'm going to have a baby, I'm just going to have another baby. Number two is that, yeah, that documentary has scarred me from ever having one. Yeah, well, what's crazy is like when they're young, right? When they're under 5, they're the sweetest thing ever. They're like a toddler. They're sweet. You know, they love you. They hug you. They would never hurt you. Once they hit 5, it goes from a little baby to a man. You know, and they are not to play with once they hit that age. Oh yeah. Honestly, I'm looking at Berkshire. I might invest some in Berkshire. I'm looking into... Yeah, I'm having a rundown on Berkshire. So I should have shorted here. My short would have worked. Look at that breakdown. So again, you got Class A shares. They're over $600,000 a share for Berk Class A shares. It makes them less accessible. Class B, you can invest in Berk a little bit easier. Price much lower. They're $400 a share. Class A shares, each share carries substantial voting power for Class A. If having a significant say in the company decisions is important, Class A offers this advantage. Class B, each share has 1/10,000th of the voting rights that Class A shares have. So they're basically, obviously, just not that good. Both classes are designed to track the same underlying asset. Yeah, most people are not going to buy Class A shares. Yeah, again, just to put this into perspective. Class A shares, look at the price of these freaking things. They're currently at $678,814 a share for Class A of Berkshire. And again, the reason you do this, it performs the same as the Class B shares, but you got some sway, you got some voting rights here. And look at the trend. And honestly, my trend worked. It would have held really nicely there. But yeah, you just got some sway. You got some voting rights here for Class A shares. Well, monkeys are one thing. Cow. Chimps are a different thing, right? Chimps, they're sweet, lovable when they're young, you know. Then, once they hit 4 or 5 years old, and they mature, and they go through puberty, really, is what it is. You do not, that is a freaking monster liability. They might be sweet, but the problem is they're animals. It's just irresponsible to own them, you know. Is that the same? Yeah. So if you ever hear different types of shares, Larry says, is that the same with different types of stock? So different stocks. If you ever hear Class A versus Class B versus Class C, usually the two you hear the most is Class A and Class C shares, right? Class A shares generally might be a little bit more expensive, might have a little bit different revenue, but what they do is they have voting power. So one is more expensive than the other, specifically for voting power. Like if you look at Google, GOOG, which is Class C shares, they're 172. Let me see. Maybe I have it backwards. I don't know. But some of them have more voting power. Alright, so Google Class A is GOOGL. It does have voting rights. Each share grants 1 vote. These shares are publicly traded. Okay, so Class B shares. Each share provides 10 voting rights, but they're not publicly traded. So these are like executive owned shares. And then Class C don't have any voting rights. So GOOG is Class C. Wondering why is the worst shares more expensive? Yeah, interesting. Maybe yeah, what's strange though is like GOG, which is Class C shares with no voting rights, are more expensive than GOGL, which is Class A shares with voting rights, which is strange. Who knows why? Yeah, the 5-digit one has voting rights. All right, chat. A few minutes left. Oh, dude. So, So McDonald's posted a message to their fans. They said, what we know, you can safely and confidently eat at McDonald's. What we've done. Last week, we took immediate action to remove slivered onions used on our quarter pounder burgers from a small number of restaurants. These onions came from a single facility in Colorado, which supplied to us and to others. What we're doing, we're getting back to serving you quarter pounder burgers after temporarily pausing sales of QP burgers in certain restaurants. They're coming back. In some restaurants, they'll temporarily be served without slivered onions. You can count on McDonald's to always do the right thing, publicly and privately. On behalf of McDonald's system, we are sorry to those who want more info. Head to our newsroom. Slivered onions were the problem, huh? It's like that Doug episode that had liver and onions. That's the only thing I hear. I'm not a big onions person. I'm just not a big onions guy. You know, I don't mind onions. It's not like I'm weird about onions. If a burger has onions on it, I'm gonna eat it. You know, I just prefer not to have onions on my burger. But I'm not one of those people that are so picky where I'm like, oh, it's got onions on it. How dare it? No, like onions are just kind of seasoning. They're a little bit too slimy in texture for me to like though. But I'll put them in some gumbo and eat it still. You know. Yeah, that Doug episode. You know. No, we don't have anything going down in 1 minute. Nothing really. Nothing's really going on today. It's a boring day, guys. Like I said, we don't really have much going on this week except for Thursday. Thursday, let me see. We have some stuff going on this week. We got earnings mostly. This week is mostly earnings. Like tomorrow we have ISM Services PMI data at 10. So we got ISM Services PMI data at 10 tomorrow. Wednesday we got Services PMI. Thursday's the big day. We got the FOMC decision, jobless claims numbers in the morning. We got we got consumer sentiment data on Friday. But again, the story of this week is mostly earnings. This afternoon we got Palantir earnings. We're gonna stream. Yeah, so tomorrow we got Supermicro, although we're probably not gonna stream Supermicro earnings tomorrow just because I don't think anybody's really gonna tune into it. Maybe we do. I don't freaking know, man. Wednesday. We have AMC earnings after the bell, and so we're definitely going to stream that. And then Thursday, obviously, we got the rate decision. We got jobless claims numbers. So we are still moving in this trend we drew much, much earlier. Look at this trend we drew hours ago, and we're still holding it pretty well. We're still looking pretty good here. You know, we held that thing perfectly. So Southwest Airlines names Rakesh, independent board chairman. I found that episode of Doug kind of weird. So I'm surprised so many people remember that episode. I don't remember anything about that episode. I really don't. I remember. The only thing I remember is that they didn't like liver and onions, and it was some type of like, basically, what I can remember about that episode is that Doug didn't like liver and onions, right? Somebody was serving liver and onions. Doug didn't like it, and at the end of the episode, he was like, huh, liver and onions ain't that bad, basically, you know? And was it Patty Mayonnaise that, like, pushed him to eat the liver and onions? I can't remember, but it was something like that. Doug didn't like it. Somebody loved it. Doug ate it to please whomever loved it, and in the end, he was like, yo, liver and onions ain't that bad. That's what I remember about that Doug episode. I remember nothing else. And I remember Skeeter. That's all. Again, it's been decades since I've seen Doug. Yeah, quail, man. Yeah, that's right. All right, chat. We got 25 minutes till the market opens. We're green on the day. We've actually been pretty accurate overall, to be honest. We're up on the day. We'll take it. We're green. We'll take it. We've been pretty green. Mark has been in this downward trend too. So the downward trend's been holding. We're middle range now, so we're not going to take this trade, but we'll wait. Oh, Tesla's just volatile. Honestly, I'm not touching Tesla right now based off of just the volatility that we might get. in the next 2 days. I'm not touching it. I think a lot of blue chips are susceptible to volatility in the next few days. One of the reasons Top Step's not allowing live accounts to trade today and tomorrow. Understandably so, because some people are mad about it, but like the reality of it is, the same people that are mad about it, if they traded during the election and lost, they're gonna get mad about that too, you know. And so I think it's better to just restrict trading. All right, guys. Sorry, talking to my wife in here. All right, chat. We're sitting here hanging out, watching the market move in a trend. I'm gonna buy the bottom of this. I think we've dropped enough. See if we get a little pop. Alright, I'm going to take a little piece of this off. We got a little cushion now. Maybe we can add more to it. Alright, so we just made a little bit more as well. We're kind of scalping away this morning, taking small trades, but green nonetheless. Whoa. Where's NVIDIA at this morning? NVIDIA down to 137. So still green. I think a lot of stuff's just waiting for this election to end. We got a nice little cushion. Again, here's my trades. This is the beautiful part about Top Step X. Literally 0 commissions, tiny amount of fees, 74 cents in fees per micro contract. It's tiny. That means I can take 1 or 2 contracts, make 10, 15 bucks, still net profit. A majority of the profit in these trades. That's a big edge. It's a powerful thing. And again, I've been trading these trends in the futures market. Most day traders should be trading futures. There's no PDT rule. You can get around the PDT rule. You can have a margin account. You can day trade short. You can get exposure to day trading without taking too much risk. Now again, Top Step's an affiliate of mine. I'm biased. You know, always check everything with them. But genuinely what most day traders should be doing, especially in the beginning, right? Like for whatever reason, day traders, and I did it too, but I end up risking the problem is that they think they're about to get rich. They think if they risk 5 or 10K, they can turn it into 50 or 100K. And instead, and most of the time it's because they're paying for some mentorship guru course that's just kind of exaggerating the capabilities of it, and they just end up losing everything, right? Instead, try a funded account program. If you lose, it's not the end of the freaking world. You can still day trade, you can still short, you can still, you know, do all kind of stuff, but it's not the end of the world. If you pass it, you get a 50K funded account for the base one with a 90% split, so it's similar to funding the account anyway. If you lose, you're only out 49 bucks for the base one. You can always reset and try it again. Just get your feet wet with futures first with these. It just makes sense. But again, I'm biased. If you want to check it out, here's the link. All right, guys, we got 23 minutes left. But again, like look at my trades. Like we've had pretty good accuracy today. So far today in the last like what? Yeah. So far today we've had 4 losses. No, yeah, 4 losses out of 17 trades. So we're running about 75% accuracy here. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, I'm just ready for this. I'm ready for this election to be over with, chat. I think it's easier to trade normal versus scalping. I'm just disappointed that these are the best candidates that we could get. Like, just top step, get the 90%? No. Once you're funded, you keep 90% of your profit moving forward. You just gotta follow their rules, but yeah. So National Association of Realtors posted a report saying homeowners today are not only richer than those of the past, they're also much older. Typical age of home sellers in the U.S. is 63, up from 60 a few years ago, and the oldest ever recorded, according to a report Monday by the National Association of Realtors. Interesting. All right, chat. We're gonna keep things short and sweet this morning. We're trying here, guys. We're trying. We'll scale up our size a little bit after the opening bell here, but yeah, we got Palantir earnings later on today. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah, I mean, you know, I gotta start to delete some of these political stuff posted. It's just too much, man. I'm looking at my Discord. You know, no political stuff here. I'm gonna ban some of the names. Like, it's just too much. Like, because I don't want that to reflect on the channel. So if you're gonna post at our Discord, just don't post political stuff. Like, find somewhere else to do it. You know. Especially like if nobody's really responding to it, you're just kind of posting it just to post it. I might have to just clear out some of these old messages. How can I... I'm going to have to delete all this and then add... There we go. Text. We'll edit permissions here. Okay, good. All right, guys. Yeah, we got 15 minutes. Yeah, like people spend so much of their life getting wrapped up in it. And again, like, I don't know if they think that I root for one side or the other, which I really don't. And I would rather keep everything political free or politics free, especially right now. Like, I already hear enough about it. Like, this ain't the place for it. And I feel like boredom is the root of all this stuff. Like, if you don't have much else going on in your life, like, you hyper focus on stuff like that, and I'm just not, you know, I'm just ready for it to end, to be honest. That's my bias. My bias is I just want it to end. We don't really have much going on this week. Next week we got a bunch of stuff. Next week we got CPI, PPI. So Veterans Day is Monday, November 11th. Is the stock market closed? Market is still falling down. So the stock market's over. The bond market will be closed. That's all right. Yeah, we're dropping enough. I'm going to start to buy this up too. I'm trying to trade. We'll add some more to this. 4 contracts. We're basically risking what we've made today. Somehow it gave me a loss there. I don't know how, but that's all right. I just want to build up like a little cushion leading into this, if I can. I need to trade regular NASDAQ contracts. Alright, so somehow we got out of this. Again, we're just kind of chipping away at it. I don't think we made much there. The Fed will probably be 25 basis points. I mean, that's pretty probable that the Fed's going to cut rates 25, right? Like, that's what I'm thinking. The Fed's going to cut 25. All right, guys. Yeah, we got 12 minutes left. 12 minutes. Yeah, we got Palantir earnings later on too. Yeah, so the Fed will be 25 basis points. Wait, did this change recently? Wait. When I looked at it, it was like 98. Look at this. Okay, so yeah, what I'm showing right now. So the current rate is 475 to 500. So basically, overwhelming likelihood, 99.8%, they're going to do a 25 basis point cut. And what drove this here is the payroll numbers. The payroll numbers showed up at 12K versus what were they expected? Versus 110. Right? So this is the reason why. The real reason why is because payroll numbers showed up at 12,000 versus 110K expected. That is why these numbers have pivoted and changed to where it's overwhelmingly probable that we're going to cut rates 25 basis points. And we also have the Fed meeting today. Or not today, I'm sorry. We have the Fed meeting this week. There's a big bounce in markets here. We got 10 minutes left. There's a pretty big bounce in markets. Yeah, that bounce would have worked. It's alright. We'll trade larger once the opening bell happens. We're trying not to trade too much prior to the open. Okay, we do have Palantir earnings this afternoon as well, so we're going to cover those. All right, so look at this low break here. So we did crack lows. I'm gonna short this now, actually. As long as I don't get faked out too much here. We got two contracts. Put this where you guys can see it. All right, guys, we got 9 minutes left. All right, locked in half. Again, some of the candle wick is filled here. We can now also hold this break even if we want it, so we'll have to consider that too. This looks weak. Yep. All right, so we're out. We made another like 15, 20 bucks. We got a little cushion on the day now. We've been pretty accurate this morning. Yeah, so we've only had 4 or 5 losses. We're running about 75% accuracy this morning. Really, this is actually nothing. So we've only had 4 losses out of 20 trades. We're running 80%. Not that bad. 80% accuracy so far. Yeah. All right, guys, we got 6 minutes. 6 minutes left. Also Tesla. Tesla's down today, but I think one thing that we can bet on is Tesla to be really choppy leading into the election. That's my guess. And so I think we might actually have some good day trading capabilities here just based off of that. But who knows, man? Again, not an investment professional. I have no freaking idea what we're going to get. You know, all we can really do is trade smart and slow and try to be safe with everything going on. You know, I know they say fasting is really good for you, like fasting 72 hours. The water one is hard. Like, I know I'm supposed to fast with water too, but all right, look at this big breakdown here, Chad. I'm not sure why the market just flushed. Let's see if we can figure out why. Look at that big dump right here. All right, so I'm seeing some U.S. chip maker news. Does anybody know what? Look at this drop. Wow. This is the NASDAQ specifically. It's not NVIDIA. Let's take a look at what this is. Is it Apple? Apple's definitely reacting negatively. Microsoft reacted negatively. NVIDIA's underwhelming reaction here. Does anybody know what's causing this drop? Anybody? Look at that drop. Something just fell quickly. Looking at Amazon. What a drop. Is it election news? Yeah, I would just be careful. Is it Supermicro? Plausible. It's not Tesla. Oh, Supermicro just cracked lows again. Supermicro broke lows of the day again. And look at where this bounce is, Chad. Look at this. Like, look. It's literally at the bottom of my trend line. We drew this trend super early in pre-market, too. Look at that. Pretty nice. We'll see if it holds, though. But Supermicro just cracked lows. All right, so we bounced right there at the trend. We got 3 minutes, chat. Again, we're going to be day trading live at the open today. Stick around, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. I know Burke sold Apple, but that happened early. Supermicro did crack lows. 2 minutes left. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna get today. It's interesting. NVIDIA just cracked lows as well. Lows of pre-market, not lows of extended hours though. It's still got a little ways. Here's the Q on the top. We've had pretty good results. Yeah, the market's open tomorrow. Oh, natural gas went up. I'm not sure. Super Micro has since bounced all the way back up to 25s. So it looks like Super Micro, to be honest, here is causing this. Super Micro dumped under lows to 24.30 and then bounced all the way back to 25, 70-cent bounce back in the last minute and a half. So it looks like it was Super Micro causing this, where it dropped big. Like, look, I'll put a Super Micro chart up. Yeah, like, look, Super Micro cracked under lows, had that big drop, and then rebounded all the way back up. And now the NASDAQ is doing similar things. Q falling still as well, though. All right, guys. 1 minute left. We'll see what we get. Remember that NVIDIA shifting orders from Supermicro to other suppliers. I mean, it makes sense. If they've got bad management, at least that's the rumor. All right, guys, 20 seconds. 20 seconds. If they've got bad management, it's not a shock that they're going to be switching. Yeah. Hey, later, Frost. Yeah, I'll see you in a couple hours then. Yeah, I'll be on Top Step at 1 p.m. Central, so 2 p.m. Eastern. There's the opening bell, chat. Let's see what we get. Watch Super Micro fall. Look at this dump at the opening bell. Super Micro still testing lows. Q is bouncing back a little bit here. Look at this bounce. Again, we hit the exact bottom of that trend line. We followed that trend line we drew earlier to the T. It's not a code. You got to just use the link if you want. Ella. It's not a code. You just use the link. Alright, so we're cracking the lows on Super Micro. Q is still bouncing back pretty strong. Here's the 200 EMA right here, though. Let's watch it. Alright, so we got a couple up wicks. I usually like buying into this, but I really am going to wait and let the opening 5 minutes play out first before we take any big size position. I got these new headphones. I can't remember what kind of headphones these are. I wanted to get more Bose, but Bose is like $400, man. Although these Bose headphones have lasted me 5 years, 6 years. So look at that big drop here, guys. Super Micro just dumped under lows. Look at the red action coming through on the NASDAQ here, chat. Wow, look at that drop. Interesting. All right, we got 2 minutes into the opening bell. 2 minutes. Super Micro is still looking weak. Is Meta breaking down? Ooh, look at Meta at the opening bell. Meta got really weak too. Wow. Meta just cracked lows, dragging the whole market down with it. 558. I'm gonna wait. I should have shorted. That would have worked. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I got. Yeah, I got Sennheiser. I got like the Sennheiser, what are these called? The Ascentum. Yeah, I got the Sennheiser Ascentum headphones is what I got. They were like $150, $200. They're nice. Alright, so I should have shorted there, man. It's still falling. I should have shorted. Looks like we're gonna crack this bottom of the range here. We still got a little room though, but the momentum's certainly looking weak here. Part of me wants to short again, but all right, we'll try. We're gonna lock some in. We didn't get too much profit there, but that's all right. We'll keep one contract. All right, so we made about $20 there actually. Maybe not quite that much. I gotta keep with my direction. I'm good at reading the momentum. Super Micro's bouncing back though. That's the reason I got out. Yeah. We're right at this low. Look at this low right here. We just dumped underneath it. We're gonna buy this now, take the opposing way, but it's risky. So we got a cushion on the day, but man, oof, looks like I just gave it all back in one big old trade. That's why they're telling people not to trade today, man. We just got out a piece of it. I'm gonna get out. So now we're actually still technically green. We got to exit here, but man, we are still green on the day. But what a drop, guys. So we've somehow managed to get out. But what a drop. And look at that. We're still testing lows here. I don't know what I want to do with this. Again, we're still green on the day, but man, what a drop at the open. Luckily, we built up a good amount of profit in pre, but yeah, I just gotta be careful here, and you should be careful too, chat. It's you know, I like this range, but I gotta let the trend play out a little bit more. I don't mind buying the dip if we get some deep extension on the downside, but I also think the volatility today, the day before the election, can be high. So I just gotta be careful. I don't want to get stuck. I don't mind losing. It's not the end of the world if I lose. I just gotta be smart. I also gotta let time play out first here, see if we can get some actual range. Look at Super Micro head up. What's dragging the market though today? So I see all the red action, but what's dragging it down? Apple. I guess Nvidia too. I like catching a rebound here, but I also think it's risky based off of just how much the market has fallen. All right, so we got out. Now we're green. We're kind of flat on the day now. I just have to be careful because I don't want to get stuck in another like low of the day crack and breakdown. All right. All right, there we go. All right, so we're out. We ended up making most of the money back. We're technically green on the day again. But man, volatility high. United Healthcare. Healthcare's been breaking down UNH. UNH falling all the way down to 560s, completely retracing the lows of the last few days. Yeah, again, like I said, I'm trading very small with micros today just because the volatility might be freaking crazy right now. And again, if you want to day trade with me on Top Step, you can trade challenge combine accounts today. You just can't trade if you're fully funded live. You can't trade. But this is an XFA, so this is an express funded account. And again, so if you want to check them out, there's the link. There's no PDT rolling futures. You can day trade short. Again, the big thing is, like, if you lose these challenges, you probably would lose your actual account funding your own account. But if you pass these challenges, you get a 90% split, which is similar to funding your own account. No PDT rolling futures. You can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. It's a bad buy level, I think, but I'm going to try it. And so if you want to check it out, the link is in the description. They're an affiliate or of mine, so I'm biased, of course, but check them out. All right, so we just made another 20. And so we're back to green. We're kind of flat since the opening bell now, down a little bit, but still green nonetheless. Look at Super Micro, rip. Yeah, I'm noticing the healthcare sector's down a lot this morning too. Where's Tesla? Look at United Healthcare though, chat. Look at UNH. Look at UNH symbol. Pawn sent it to me, but Tesla's down a lot too. Look at the Q here. Wow, where's Nvidia? Is what I want to see. Super Micro's up. Nvidia's down. Okay. All right, we're short 2 contracts here. Locked it in. All right, we just locked in some more. All right, we're slightly green on the day. All right, 2 contracts. We upped our positions here. Big swings today, though, chat. Big swings. What volatility, man. Now we're down for sure in the day. We'll let it hit the 200 EMA. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we gotta just cut it. So we're now down about 100 on the day. No, we're not gonna live stream the election results. Just so much volatility here, man. Big upswings, big downswings. Y'all just be careful. The risk is high. The range is big. I see AMD. Let me see. And honestly, I probably would have made money here. Look, I'm gonna buy this dip. There we go. We took some off here. It's definitely rangy today. Retracing back up. We got 2 contracts here. But if we get chopped out here, we're just ranging back up and down, which probably might be like a higher probability thing today based off of the election tomorrow. So again, we're trading micros. We're trading pretty small. Like throughout all this volatility, we're up and down, $100 or less most of the day. I love a push up here, but the 200 EMA is right above us is the only problem, the only risk. There we go. So we took some profit there. We're green on this trade now. Let me see what we're up or down. Yeah, we're $70 down. Could be worse, right? I'm gonna go ahead and cut this there. So yeah, we ended up making some there, but man. Do you think the market is down because the Saints lost? I haven't even been paying attention to the Saints. Honestly, since the Saints lost 3 games in a row and Derek Carr got hurt, I haven't even been paying attention to the Saints, to be honest. No. I don't know why the Saints got Carr anyway. You know, the Saints need to just spend some money on their team and get a good quarterback. So yeah, Derek Carr is now the first quarterback in history to lose to 31 different teams. The first quarterback in history. But I mean, listen, he's got a net worth right now. About 50 million net worth. So I mean, you know, he's not crying himself to sleep about it. I mean, he might be, but look at this run back here, guys. Nvidia leading the market back up. NASDAQ bouncing back up. Big upswing, big downswing in the first 15 minutes. All right, we're at the very top of the range. We're going to try to short this. Slightly green now. We're going so back and forth here now. I don't know what to do with this trade. We got some upwicks, but we kind of been filling the upside of these upwicks recently, to be honest. So I don't know if I trust this. It's taking too long. And I think most of the time it's going to go right back up. See, look, most of the time I've been seeing us fill the top side of the upwicks. Is like a very strong, I think I talked about this last week. Meta's starting to rebound too. Winston. Bro, Winston had so much support for the Saints, in all honesty. I'm going to get out of here, guys. I'm just kind of giving it back to the market. I think it's really risky to trade super heavy today. Listen, we'll be on Top Step TV later on, and we'll also be streaming Palantir earnings after the bell today. So we'll be back later on today. I just basically built up a cushion in pre-market, gave it back after the opening bell, and even still, we're down less than $100, and so it could be worse. I think we're down. We might be down right around $100 actually. Yeah, we're down about $100 actually. But anyways, if you want to check out Top Step, I would have lost so much more trading my own account today. Limit your risk. Try a funded account program. There's the link if you want to check it out. I appreciate the love. Again, we're gonna be on Trade with Top Step today at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live, like we always are. At least we've been going on there at least once a week. So I'll see you guys over there. Y'all be good. I'll see you guys later. Check out Top Step if you want to trade with me. There's no PDT in futures. You can day trade short, all that good stuff. No PDT restrictions. Top Step's the most legit funded program in the world. They give you a demo, test your skill with it. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you only lose what you pay for it. If I would have put my own money up, I would have lost way more. Great way to learn how to day trade. And if you're good enough, you can get funded and use that funded account. 90% split, similar to funding yourself, noticeably less risk. Check it out. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. We'll be back later on today. Palantir earnings after the bell. And then we've got Trade with Top Step at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll see you guys there.